Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Season 13, Episode 21, Beat the Devil. And wow, what a controversial episode. I feel like I'm saying that a lot this season. This season has had quite a handful of controversial episodes. And as I always do before I make this kind of review, I go read my own reviews and from other people, other articles, etc. It has been received quite well, this episode, although there are a few people that have problems with it, hence it being controversial. And I have a few problems with it too. I've only watched this episode one time so far, and it is an episode that I require to watch a number of times. A lot happened inside this episode, and it's hard to address exactly what I liked and what I didn't like. But first of all, I'm sorry I'm with my jacket, I'm late for work. You can't really see my room, but my room's in a mess because next week I'm going to be going to JupCon, which is the Supernatural convention in Rome. Again, as I said in previous videos, I hope to maybe make one vlog over there. We'll see how it goes. I've never vlogged before, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. More about this episode, going back to this episode. You have the full cast inside this episode. You have Lucifer, and as I said in previous episodes, I do hope that they create Lucifer and make him feel like a threat again, because he just hasn't been feeling like a threat. The whole roofie in the drink was okay because it's by Gabriel, and that's the only pass I would give it because it's Gabriel and he is the trickster. But then it comes that Rowena's the one that did the spell. I don't feel that a roofie that something like that should exist to take down a bloody archangel. But again, I'll give it a pass. It's Gabriel Rowena, it is the most powerful witch, and an archangel working together. But apart from that, I felt that the comedy just maybe played a bit too much. Again, I understand that the writers and the directors, you have a character like Richard that you're writing and directing, that you're going to want to make it as awkward as possible. I mean, for a dedicated fan of the show that I follow his backstory, I followed Kings of Con, I watched the conventions, I know who Richard is as a person, and I know how much he loves Gabriel and the show. I understand why you'd put those scenes just as a little nod to him and to his spell of directing and who he is as a character and as an actor. I understand why you'd make him play those roles. Same thing with Rowena, they have great chemistry together, they work really well together. And although I might have felt that the beginning of the episode had a little bit of off-putting scenes, they were all really well done, and maybe I just hope that for the 21st, episode number 21, they would be a bit more serious. Things certainly got serious once they crossed into the alternate universe. It reminds me a little bit of the conversation in season 11 which Chuck had with Lucifer, that kind of Dr. Phil session that we had, which I would say was, again, it is the writers knowing that the fans would forgive, so they're bending the rules a bit and bending the storyline. We've done it before, the show has done it before. I didn't love it back then, although now looking back at it, I appreciate that scene. Hopefully in the future I'll appreciate the beginning of this episode more than I do now. Talking about the seriousness, Dean leaving Sam felt a bit out of character, but was it out of character because you have the episode in season 11, Red Meat. This episode felt a lot like season 11. Again, so I don't know whether I should criticize it. Was it out of character? In my opinion, it could have been explained more. We should have seen his grief more, but then again, you wouldn't want to see his grief because we've been seeing his grief. So it would be a repetition of a scene. You don't want to do that, especially this far in the series. I mean, after 13 seasons, if something remotely resembles something else, you're copying it, you're beating a dead horse. I understand why you didn't want to go down that path kind of thing, and you wanted to speed it along, but that's what you did, and it felt like the episode was sped along after that point. Again, Did Sam really have to die? No one thought he was going to remain dead. It was okay, a shock, sad, it was a sad moment. The acting was beautiful, but did he really have to die again? I mean, the more these characters die, the cheaper death becomes on the show. And again, we all know what show we're talking about. This season we brought back a lot of characters. It is a show where death doesn't mean so much, but what is the afterlife means a lot more than death itself. But I still think that we should keep a bit of, only keep the deaths for the must-do moments, the moments that must happen. This moment didn't have to happen. I love the ending. I love Jack. I love that scene where Castiel went and said we lost Sam, and Jack went bloody bonkers. That was amazing. That was a really, really cool scene. Again, showing Jack in... We never saw Jack in quite a scene, so it was a bending for the actor to show that kind of emotion, that oh my god moment, what just happened moment. We haven't seen it for Jack, so it was awesome to see the actor play that kind of role.
I can't be dead. I can't be dead. Jack, couldn't you bring him back? Why didn't you bring him back?
I'm not strong enough.
Jack, if we could have, we would have. I'm so sorry.
In general, I mean, apart from what I mentioned already, the episode itself was a fantastic episode. The tunnel scene, yeah. I've heard good things, I've heard bad things. People love the scene, people hate the scene. I'm not talking directly about Sam's death, I'm talking about the entire scene. It was shot, at least I watched it on my laptop, really dark, and I know other people watched it too, really dark. So, for example, the dude that was in the group, I forgot his name, but he wasn't an important character. He just came in and he ended up dying in the tunnel. I didn't know he died in the tunnel. I didn't physically see him dying, and then he just was not there anymore. So I'm presuming he died. For me it was dark. I still appreciated it. The darkness and the directing was still good, but maybe it could have done with a bit more light, maybe a bit more of a slower pace, showing us really what's going on, rather than we have to use our ears to the extent our ears are playing the scene in front of us, because we can't really see. If that was what Phil Segria, the director, was going for, okay, but I can't see why you would do that. I mean, you could have still kept it really low lit, you could have used the flashlights to be the beams as the camera angle, and it could have been more of a first person view, and you're seeing these really interesting vampires that we haven't seen before coming to life and attacking you. That would have been good. But we just saw this group of flashlights bouncing around and not much else what we're hearing. Apart from that, that's quite a small quirk, because again it could have just happened to me, although I know it happened to other people. Maybe our screens were dimmed down, maybe if we had to brighten it up a bit, and there are ways to brighten up the laptop screen and the TV screen, it would have worked. Maybe if it was a screen bigger, HD screen. I don't have an HD screen here, I was using another laptop. So maybe it was just me. I do wish it was a bit more of an in-depth scene. This episode was rushed for sure, because you had the capture of Lucifer, he's a fantastic actor, but I think they overdid the grace falling out, to be honest. I know he lost a lot of grace, but how much grace was falling out? Like, can you imagine keeping him like that for 24 hours? Even 5 minutes, he dropped a blob of grace every, I don't know, 10 seconds. So imagine that 24 hours, it breaks canon a little bit, because we never saw quite such an amount of grace, but as I've mentioned before, the grace in our show, they bend the rules a bit with it. Like, sometimes you can take all someone's grace and it looks this amount, sometimes it's a bigger amount, whatever. I did think that the scene could have been better, and Lucifer playing with Rowena the way he played with her was smart, but Rowena breaking so quickly was weird. If they had to extend that time throughout one episode, let's say, of Rowena getting slowly mentally tortured, Lucifer slowly getting weaker, and then Rowena breaks, I would understand, but I didn't feel Rowena had to break at that point in time. I do understand that hours had passed probably with him singing and him taunting her, because I mean the other cast in the alternate universe had quite a way to go. It wasn't just a very fast scene, but we didn't see that, so we saw Rowena break really quickly. That reminds me a bit of Kevin in season 9. Reminds me of Kevin and Crowley in season 9, where Crowley managed to break Kevin. Kevin is very smart. We know these characters, we know that they wouldn't break so easily, and they know what mental torture is and how that's what they're trying to do. Both Kevin and Rowena broke far too quickly, I would say. Given the length of time they were there, it makes sense, but we didn't see that mental torture, so two iconic characters just broke, and because of that, it was predictable that Lucifer would escape, and the way he would escape was predictable. But apart from that, I'm criticizing the episode a lot. That being said, I still love the episode. My full rating would be an 8 out of 10. So I just think that supernatural standards for me are very high, especially going this far into the season. So maybe I expected more, but an 8 out of 10 is still a fantastic rating. I loved the episode still. I will be rewatching the episode, and I do know that the more I rewatch the episode, the more I will understand what's going on, because I feel I missed out a lot. Till next time, I do need to go because it got late. I hope you managed to stay till the end. I hope this review was good. Please leave your comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Supernatural out.